Wait, what was the question again? I'm sorry. I'm going up on a tangent.
That's just the question, kind of just like that.
I'm Alice Durning. I'm the creator and sole proprietor of the Unlady Shop. The Unlady Shop is a vintage and secondhand resale shop and website where I'm basically curating my best vision for what fashion I feel like should represent. And, you know, living that small business life, man. Living the hustle.
So you said that you're curating what you think fashion should be. What is that look?
There's a lot of binary gendering in fashion, and it's a little limiting when it comes to creative expression. In vintage as well, or secondhand, that is extremely prevalent. So what I decided to do with the Unlady Shop was basically source out pieces that I feel like can really match whatever my audience are looking for. So I have, you know, pieces from the 70s and 80s, but I also have, you know, pieces from the early 2000s, and like anything that I source has got to be like something fun. That idea of inclusive, fun fashion across the decades.
Essentially, that's what you're creating, is a collection of statement vintage pieces, right?
Absolutely, yep. And jewelry and bags and shoes, anything. So the page originally was me dumping a lot of different fashion inspiration just onto an Instagram account. It was almost like a camera roll cleaning method. I kind of was just like watching all these kids that were my age doing all these different business ideas, drumming up, you know, excitement about events that they're doing, or they're in a band, or they make candles. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm just sitting on my ass, you know, studying and trying to get a degree. But like, if I want to start a business, like I totally can. You know, it was kind of like a come to Jesus moment. I bought up a bunch of really cheap stuff, carefully going through it. Like, okay, what do I like? What do I think is new and fun? And like, again, fun, major word. Yeah, I put a rack in my bedroom and I just filled it up with stuff. At that point, I had like an Instagram account that I felt good about. And I just started, you know, listing all the clothing. So started to Depop, started selling. Yeah, it's a slow climb ever since. I sort of have this very girlish, like, love of a lady. Femininity can be interpreted in so many different ways. You know, if you're a lady, you tend to be very polite and genuine and empathetic. You have a lot of self-respect. It doesn't have to mean, oh, I cross my ankles and sip my tea with my pinky out, but it does kind of hold a certain power. And I really loved that. But I was like, okay, sure, I'm a lady, but I'm not like a lady. I kind of took it and made it negative. And I was like, no, I'm an unlady.
No, I love it. And I love that example where it's like there is power in femininity, and it's a different kind of power than people think.
There is such a push for it right now because of the sustainability, recycling and buying things that are already out there, giving them more life because, you know, they're beautiful, they're amazing, so much amazing stuff out there. New York makes it really easy to be a reseller. They almost hand the stuff to you. There's an amazing like Goodwill warehouse in Queens. Was definitely my go-to for a while. It's like pay by the pound, pay $20 and you come out with like 50 different things. Like it's awesome. But since moving upstate, I've been checking eBay quite a bit, thrift at a lot of different church thrift stores. You're also obviously donating to that. For the one that I go to, it's also like a community outreach center. People consign things to me too. They get a percentage as well. So it keeps people involved in whatever I'm doing, which I think makes them feel good. So I'm from upstate New York. I relocated with my mom to a sort of more agricultural based high school. Like it was a small high school. So most of kids lived or worked on farms. I used to dance, you know, and I was big into theater. I think that sort of pushed me to be like, okay, you're already a little bit different from these people. I sort of was like, oh, if I'm gonna show up to this school every day, I have to make sure that like I look great. There's no reason for them to like say anything, you know? So that as far as like the seed of the like why I love fashion. And obviously moving to New York City for college just made me want to like up my game even more. Like, okay, girl, like you can style yourself. Good job. But like, where's all this background information? Why is this model wearing this well? Who's the creative director of this line? Why does this collection look this way? New York City is the only place I feel like that you can really get a hands-on knowledge.
It just opens your eyes and opens your experience to so many more things.
Oh yeah, and I was like, oh, these people, like, they know what they're doing, and I want to be like that. One of my favorite fashion bloggers and sort of girls that go against the grain a little bit, PRTY trope, Michelle LeMay is super inspiring as well. Just her sort of bohemian, very avant-garde, sort of gypsy, but like French, but like also dark and mysterious. It's those people where I'm like, oh, if someone can do that, like I can do whatever I want. So Depop, it kind of has like a cultish, Gen Z like following, which is good for, millennials that are starting a business. And Vestiaire is a little more like luxury items. Once I got a website, that was like a major leveling up for me because I could put that website on everything. I felt like I needed a website because Instagram, unfortunately, can be a little bit crippling for smaller businesses and people that are just getting started. The algorithms don't suit us. It is a good tool for exposure.
I know like the pandemic you were talking about has been a challenge.
Sourcing all of this inventory is the major problem that comes up. I couldn't go out and buy anything, so I'm stuck like with the same pieces until I sell out. And then I'm like, okay, I have nothing. I don't have a shop anymore. But you circumnavigate. Like I did a buying program. And that was like a problem solving moment. Always moving, to like I had to move my shop with me because it's like, its own person like takes up its own space. There's so much of it.
All of these like new brands that don't really have a space but exist solely online and on these platforms. So you're kind of managing everything yourself, right? So you were talking about sourcing, and then I know you also do like the product photography and everything like that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of why I would get things done is just because I would have a gigantic rack of clothing that like something needs to happen and it's kind of like unavoidable. You like wake up and you're just like, oh, there's all the things that I like need to do today, like in front of your face all day. Because it's like, it's your life. People like a brand because of who runs it. So it is kind of like this interesting fluid thing where it's like, I am the shop and the shop is me. The people in my corner for sure are going to be my boyfriend, knowing that he's always going to be there for me. I like burst out of the door screaming like, oh my God, I need to take like 16 product shots right now. He'll be like, okay, girl, like let's do it. Having that person in your corner, because it's constant reminders of the fact that you're doing it. You're doing a great job. And then, like I said, a lot of the reason why I feel like the brand works is because it's me. And so I got a lot of followers from me explaining what I do to people anytime that I'm, on the internet or in person. I'm like, oh, by the way, I have a shop.
Just like mid-conversation. Oh, wait, also.
Oh, wait, here's my business card. If you do want to start a business and you do want to either do resell or jewelry or textile or anything in that regard, the market is quite oversaturated. There's a lot of people that do the exact same thing that I do. And it's like, what sets you apart? And if you are trying to start something for yourself, in my opinion, you need to have a really clear message. By generating that very concise like image, aesthetic and message. And if you can get that down into like a picture and a summary that like clicks with people, you won't have any problems.
Yeah, like a clear sense of voice and style and brand.
Yeah. Like a lot of these brands are like, oh, we're doing this avenue and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, but you're almost watering down your brand at that point. Like, find that niche and like the audience will come. As much as I love the total freedom of an online presence, when you're shopping vintage, you really do need to handle the clothing. You need to touch the denim. You need to like look at the leathers and the knits. It is a very physical experience. And I love people. Like, it feels so weird being like one of these like millennials. It's like, I love people. I'm not sad at all. Like, but it's genuine. Like, I really do love talking to people. And I can't do that when I have a website. Well, I can't be like, oh, here's this free sticker because I think you're really cool, So that's what I'm excited about. And that's where I feel like I might want to take the shop more.
Yeah. So like pop-up shops, flea markets, things like that.
Works.
Okay.
Love a pop-up.
At.com, anything there is.
Anything there is, it's the same thing. The Unlady Shop.
That's lucky. That's good.
Trust me, I'm very happy about that.